Let's begin by answering the question, what is standard costs or costing? Standard costs are actually estimates of the actual costs in a company's production process. These estimates are used because knowing the exact costs would be impossible until the process is performed. One of the benefits of using standard costs is so the company can quote, estimate, and budget more efficiently. Of course, using standard costs allows a company to see variance in the estimates once the actual data has been collected. As was mentioned already, no company can predict all the variables that will occur during manufacturing, so they use standard costs. Typically, as the actual costs are collected, a company should go back and check the estimates by entering the appropriate actual costs. If at the end of the accounting period the standard costs are higher than the actual expenses, then the company has a favorable variance. On the other hand, if the company's actual costs were higher, then the company would have an unfavorable variance. If the company's variance was unfavorable, the company must then analyze the data and find where in the manufacturing process the actual cost difference lies. Some areas they may analyze are labor, cost variances, material cost variances, and overhead cost variances. By doing this, it will reduce the variance in your estimates and help keep them more accurate. You may also hear standard costs referred to as preset costs, preset pricing, expected costs, predetermined costs, or preset costing. Now, you may be wondering, what are the advantages and disadvantages of standard costing? As a reminder, you should speak with a CPA, professional accountant, or accounting attorney before deciding on different methods of valuation. With that being said, there are many advantages of standard costing, the first being that it allows an organization to budget much better than without it. Next, standard costing plays a vital role in quoting items and assigning a value to the inventory that you have. Another benefit is that it makes it much easier and faster for an organization to produce financial records, and finally, it gives businesses a way to benchmark one another. With that in mind, every advantage has a disadvantage too. Some of the disadvantages of standard costing are, standard costing needs to be updated regularly. Without this, the estimates themselves will not assume any changes, and this can result in very unfavorable results. This leads us to another disadvantage, which is that standard costing really does not look enough on the favorable variances, but tends to be quite critical of unfavorable ones. Last but not least, standard costs require a lot of work to hone in and get your estimates accurate. With that being said, once they are accurate, they can be a powerful tool for a company. By now you may be wondering, how are standard costs calculated? Standard costs are calculated with three different pieces of data: direct labor, direct materials, and manufacturing or variable overhead. When these three elements are added together, you get a standard cost. One thing to note is that many people refer to manufacturing overhead or variable overhead as simply overhead. And that's it, standard costing. Now remember, this is only an introduction to standard costing, and we will revisit this topic later on. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.